Ultima Final Fantasy presents Ultima Final Fantasy and the Capsule of Time. Written by Ultima Final Fantasy. Part 2, The Ultimate Score.
Come in. Thanks. How do you like the new paint job here in the kitchen? It's pretty cool. Who painted it? I don't know. Some guy who had a booth at KoopaCon. You don't know his name? Nah. I don't talk to those people. I have my assistant do it for me. Is Kem here? Yeah, but he's busy in the UMC right now. The UMC? Ultimate Man Cave. And before you ask, no, you may not see it. Are you serious? That's bullshit, dude. I got you half the shit you're using to decorate it with. You showed me where to go. All those hefty price tags were what I had to pay. I got all that shit, not you. Speaking of paying, you still owe me $30. We'll see about that. Oh? You know, if I hadn't bought you that game, you might not be able to afford the second house just for your Ultimate Man Cave, UMC, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Craig, please. Maybe if you would have given me my tactics back with cover art still intact, I would have been more compelled to give you that $30. Besides, if what you've got to show me is worth anything, you'll get more than enough of a percentage. How much are you looking to make off of this one? Nothing, actually. What do you mean? I mean, the ultimate video game collector's score you're looking for isn't for sale. Come on. Everything is for sale. You might end up spending money, but it's not because of a price tag. Look here, Cubby. Stop teasing me. Don't call me Cubby. Come on, Cubs. Tell me. You keep that shit up and I'm walking out of here, dude. I will tell you shit. I'll go over to Britain and become the Union's dealer, and they might let me take home more than 5%. I'm doing this as a friend, and you're being a real asshole right now. You wouldn't dare take this to those British fucks. Oh, I would. I'll go right now, though there's a good chance they're on the trail already, dude. What do you mean? I'll tell you what I mean in a minute. You gonna stop calling me names? Fine, no names. Tell me what you got. First, I gotta go to the bathroom. Okay, then go outside. What? Go outside. Fuck you, let me use your bathroom. Letting you into my kitchen is already showing you too much of the UMC. Is it number 1 or number 2? Number 1. Perfect, go in the bushes. I've got soap here in the kitchen for when you need to wash your hands. Fuck you. I gave the fat fuck his bathroom break. When he came back in, he begged for a soda too. Fucking freeloaders like him are what's ruining America. That's right, wash your hands like a good little boy and tell me about the score. Alright, Mr. Happy made a friend at the last FF14 festival. An older guy with a seemingly far-fetched story about a tragic event that happened in the spring of 1990 to him and his friends, dude. One of their dads apparently worked with Squareco as part of their American publicity team, and he happened to be in possession of something very interesting. Spill it, Craig. Let me tell my fucking story. I don't want to hear this story. Get to the score. Well, you're going to hear it, and here it is. Once upon a time... You mean in 1990? Yeah, in 1990, there were 5 friends set to graduate high school. These guys grew up together. Don, Drew, Dano, Jared, and John. They did everything together. Completely inseparable since they were little kids. And they were all big-time nerds. Before it was cool... Really into role-playing games, Dungeons & Dragons almost every other night. Had a single game of it, ongoing since middle school, dude. Literally in the same campaign of D&D for 8 fucking years. That's insane, right? Anyway, dude, you can probably guess they were really into video games too. And remember, one of their dads worked at Square. Yeah... So these kids are set to graduate, and 2 of them are going to a state school, but the other 3 all got into fancy schools on either coast. Basically, dude, they would soon have to separate. This was, of course, really painful to them, since for years they couldn't imagine ever being apart. And worst of all, their D&D campaign would have to come to an end. This was the early 90s, so long-distance calls were expensive and all that, dude, so they weren't exactly going to be able to call each other up all the time like we can, right? They decide that the last thing they're going to do together, the weekend before they graduate, dude, is have a big camping trip. They'd go up deep into the mountains and be in character the whole time. The characters from their D&D game that they had developed for years, they were going to LARP as a last hurrah. Jesus, they were nerds. But they wanted to make it extra special, dude. So these kids promised each other that no matter where they were in the world, every 10 years they would make another trip back into the mountains to continue the campaign. Then, one of these guys had the idea of putting together a time capsule, dude. They put a bunch of things in it that reminded them of their friendship at that moment in time. And 10 years from then, they would be able to unearth the capsule and, reminisce. So anyway, they load up the car and they make their way into the mountains.
It's in the time capsule, isn't it, Craig?
Let me get to it.
What's in the fucking time capsule?
Let me get to it, dude. Okay, you can wait. The first night goes just fine. They're having a great time up there. These were nerdy, clean-cut boys, so they weren't smoking weed or drinking or any of the usual stuff. They were chugging Mellow Yellow, eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and going on various quests. Most of the next day goes on okay too, dude, except that when they're all eating dinner, some of the guys start breaking character, and Dano, I think, brings up the time that he stole Jared's girlfriend. Of course, when it happened a couple of years ago, it almost broke up their friendship, but as most high school relationships go, the affair didn't exactly last long, and everyone's virginity was still intact. Relatively little damage was done, but to Jared, this was still a bit of a sore spot, dude. And as all the other guys started to tease him about it, well, Jared got upset. Jared told them that they needed to respect him and not bring it up ever again. Dano figured Jared should be over it by now, and refused, saying he needed to move on, and that Jared shouldn't be so sensitive. Right then, Jared stood up for himself and said he was going to quit the game and go home that night. He starts to leave, and the other boys are stuck in a sticky situation. Here's the thing about Jared. Jared was the dungeon master. Without the DM, there was no game, dude. On top of that, they were all close friends, so the other friends, not Dano because he thought he did nothing wrong, chase after Jared and convince him to stay. They'll all play nice and such. Jared, who's all in tears now over the situation, reluctantly agrees, but he refuses to talk to Dano for the rest of the trip. The others assume that Jared will cool off and that all will be well in the next morning. That morning, though, Jared's still not talking to Dano. And it's all awkward, of course. The other three guys are starting to get a little angry with both of them, but Jared starts leading the game anyway, and they try to have a good time despite the tension in the air. After slaying a dragon or something, Jared comes up with a new quest, a quest to find the time capsule. He informs them that he's going to hide it while the others eat lunch. So Don, Drew, Dano, and John start making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches again, and Jared takes the time capsule, which I think is like a camouflage green metal safe thing, out away from the others. He goes into the trees, and guess what? What? That's the last time they ever see him. The boys are waiting for an hour for Jared to return and start to get all worried. Dano says it's no big deal, that it's just like Jared, a really sensitive OCD type guy, to take forever finding the perfect spot. So they wait another hour, then another. Finally they go out looking for him, and they can't find him anywhere. They're running all over the trail, calling out his name, thinking he might have gotten eaten by a bear or something. Then the sun starts going down. No luck, and remember, pre-cell phone days, right? So two of the boys wait at camp to see if he shows up, and the other two go to drive to the nearest police station. The next day, they have a big search. Jared's folks drive in to help look. Nothing. They get the infrared helicopters out to look, and they can't spot him either. The dude just vanished, and he took the capsule with him. A couple of years go by, and Dano, with mounting guilt, kills himself. Thinks maybe Jared killed himself over what he said. The other three guys, Drew, Don, and John, just can't get themselves together. With their two best friends dead, bringing all the boys back together is just too painful, so they separate and don't look back. Now, 30 years later, the craziest thing happens. Two of them, Don and Drew, accidentally meet up in a game of Final Fantasy XI. And then Don reaches out to John, and they all start playing Final Fantasy XIV together. Able to relive the RPG adventures they once had, albeit with a tinge of sadness in the atmosphere, of course. They're all on opposite sides of the country now, but they decided last year they're going to meet up at the FF14 Fan Fest, and they do. And they go to the nearby barcade one of the nights they were there, and they start to talk about the old days. Guess who's also at the bar? Mr. Happy? Mr. Happy, and a couple of the old Limit Break radio crew. Everyone hears the story, dude. Their interest peaked because of this little detail. Jared's dad was the one who worked at Squareco USA. Guess what Jared put in the box, dude?
I can't imagine. Tell me, Craig.
An English language prototype for the original Final Fantasy II. The one they translated but never released in the USA. According to these friends telling the story, only 2 copies were ever made. One is in Square Enix's possession, and the other lost in a time capsule deep in the Rocky Mountains. Bingo, dude! Lost in a time capsule deep in the Rocky Mountains. Shit. It's the ultimate score. I have to find it. I have to go up there. Who else knows about this? You said the Union was on it? Yeah, Mr. Happy told the whole story to his Patreon donors in a private video. The Union has spies everywhere, dude. Someone is sure to have heard this. Daryl is trying to build the ultimate barcade and has been rounding up all sorts of rare items, just like you. I could kiss you right now. Why don't you? When I find the capsule, I will. That very day, I printed off the maps, arranged for my ride, and went to Cabela's to gear up for the trek. I was on a quest to find the lost treasure of Squareco for my ultimate man cave, and I didn't have much time. Not with Daryl from the Union at my heels.